Hi everyone, it's Andrea from Movers and Bakers. Today I'm going to share with you how I make my lemon and blueberry donuts. These are beautiful, moist, lemon flavoured donuts, studded with blueberries and then topped with the most amazing blueberry glaze ever. You are going to adore these. Let's get baking. Right, to start with, I am going to prepare my donut pan. If you don't have one, you need one for this recipe, but these are so worth it. I bake with them all the time and I absolutely love my donut pan. I will put links to them in my blog, which you will find in the link below this video. So, to prepare my pan, I have some melted butter that's a part of my recipe. I've just put a little bit more in, and I'm just going to brush my donut pan just to get it covered on the inside, and that's just going to help the donuts not stick to the pan and get released really easily. So that's my donut pan all ready to go. So we're going to set that aside for now. So first I'm going to put my dry ingredients into my mixing bowl, and I'm going to tip in plain flour. This is 150 grams of plain flour. To that I'm also adding 65 grams of caster sugar, and then I've got half a teaspoon each of baking soda or bicarbonate of soda, baking powder and salt. So we'll sieve it all together, and I'm going to, over that, get my zester. I'm going to zest in all the zest of one full lemon. Right, once you have zested your lemon in, I'm just going to get all this lovely zest that's left on the back of my zester. And then I'm just going to give this all a very quick whisk together, just to make sure all the lemon zest is properly spread out around all my dry ingredients. And we are done. Time to set that aside. And now for our wet ingredients. So in a separate jug, because I find that easier to pour out of, but you can use a bowl as well, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to pop in my milk. This is 80 mils of milk. Lemon extract. This is 1 teaspoon of lemon extract. I actually find that lemon extract works better than using lemon juice in this recipe, which is why I use it. It gives a much stronger flavour. And 1 egg. So I'm going to give that a very quick whisk up, mix up together. And then while I'm mixing it, I'm also going to add in my butter. This is 60 grams of butter, which I have melted. And the reason I like to do it this way is because the butter is warm and it's going into cooler ingredients. It tends to start to solidify as you mix them together. So I like to mix while I'm pouring it in, just so I don't get a solid clump of butter with all my wet ingredients. So now my wet ingredients are done. It's time to pop them in with my dry. I love donuts and how simple they are. They come together in minutes and then they bake in 10. They're brilliant. So while I'm mixing this up, it's a really good time for me to remind you to like my video and to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so you can always know when I release amazing recipes like this donut. And you want to mix this mixture now until it's just combined. You don't want to overmix it at all. So that has literally taken me about 30 seconds or so, not even that. So now it's time to get these ready to go in the oven. So I have a piping bag here and I'm going to pipe this mixture into my donut pan. I find it easier to pipe it in than I do to spoon it in, but if you haven't got any piping bags and you want to just spoon it in, that works absolutely fine. I just find this is easier and quicker and neater, which is why I do it this way. So when you are piping, make sure you don't pipe all the way to the top. You want to fill it about 2/3 of the way because you want to leave it room to rise. Otherwise, you're not going to have a hole in the middle of your donuts, which obviously we want to have with these ring donuts. Okay, and once you have filled your donut pan, it's time to put our blueberries in. Now, I find that it's easier to just stud my donuts with some blueberries. So I've just got some blueberries here, as you can see, and I'm just going to put maybe 3 or 4 or 5, depending on the size of the blueberry. And I'm just going to make sure that it's gone as far in as I can get it, because I want it to be within the batter as much as I can and not near the top, just so it doesn't spoil the top of it when I come to glaze it. And once you have studded all your donuts, it's time to bake. So these donuts are now ready to go in the oven. So I will bake them for about 10 minutes and then leave them to cool a little bit in the tin before you remove them. That's really important, or they will just break as you try and take them out. So they need to stay in the tin for 1 or 2 minutes just to firm up once they're out of the oven. And then you can very carefully ease them out and put them on a cooling rack to cool down completely. And now it's time to make our glaze. So it's time to make the glaze. Now this is a bit different to my usual glazes where I would just mix milk with some icing sugar or any other flavorings that I want. In that, I'm actually going to cook my blueberries down. So in my pan, I'm going to tip my blueberries and I'm going to put in a little bit of lemon juice. I'm going to use fresh lemon. This is the one that I zested earlier for my donuts. So I'm just going to cut it up and put about a tablespoon's worth of lemon juice in with my blueberries in the pan. Let's not waste any of that lovely lemon juice. So I'm going to heat this up until my blueberries start to bleed their color. So what will happen is the lemon juice will start to turn a lovely purple color, and you'll see your blueberries will start to look a little bit softer. I'm going to take it off at that point. Right, so my blueberries are just starting to pop and all the color is coming off them. They are looking beautiful and purple. So I'm just going to tip them into a bowl. You can see the liquid there has gone a bit purpley, and that is absolutely perfect. That's exactly what I want. You can see how gorgeous that purple, that's the color our glaze is going to be. I'm so excited by this. So now I've got my blueberries and my lemon in there. I'm going to use a hand blender and I'm going to whiz this up to completely mush it up. And once you are done, you will be left with this beautiful, deep, purpley pinky color. It's absolutely glorious. Right, and to this mixture, I am going to add my icing sugar. So I'm getting a little whisk down. And here I've got, now depends on how much icing sugar your blueberries absorb. Will depend, I'll put the range of how much I have found it needs. Make sure you have sifted your icing sugar. This has already been sifted, which is why I am popping it in. And I would do it just a little bit at a time, just to help it mix together more easily. So my glaze is ready. You can see it has gone this beautiful dark pink, magenta, purpley color. It's absolutely stunning. I absolutely adore this, but we are ready now to glaze my donuts. So before I get glazing, I just wanted to show you an example of 2 different ways of doing your blueberries. So when I studded my blueberries into my donuts before I baked them, I did them 2 ways just to show you what it would be like. So this way was one that I just popped the blueberries straight in and I pushed them into the dough and didn't do anything else. Now sometimes that works and you can see that the blueberries have started to get covered over. So sometimes it can work, but most of the time you end up with these little pockets where the blueberries are and the dough hasn't risen around it. The other way that you can do it is like I did this one. Now what I did here was I put my blueberries in exactly the same as this, but then after that I used a skewer or the end of a knife or whatever you want to just cover up the blueberries with a little bit of that mixture of your donut mixture. And what that means is the blueberries have then baked into my donut, and so I can't see them at all on the outside like you can with these ones. Now this one obviously looks neater, and then when you dip it, you're not going to get the lumps and bumps that you've got because of your blueberries from this one. In this case, if you have done it like this, and that's absolutely fine, just dip the other side and then you've got a lovely smooth side to work with for your glaze. But I just wanted to show you the difference it makes just covering it up a little bit, the same amount of mixture and everything, but just that little extra step has made quite a big difference. So time to glaze our donuts. So all you're going to do is you're going to grab your donut and pop it in, give it a little bit of a swirl and then pull it out very gently. Now these donuts, because of the added blueberries in them, are a bit more delicate. So don't be afraid if it feels like they're breaking a little bit, just be more gentle and be aware of it. And once you have got your donut out, just let it drip off a little bit. So then you can use your knife once it's dripped a little bit just to get those little excess bits off, you can see there, just to encourage them off. And what that's going to do then is it's going to give you a lovely edge on your glaze. You can see I'm just scraping the excess off. And what that means is I'm not going to have a drip down the side. Now, if you like the drip down the side, of course, go ahead and let that happen. But if you don't, and you want it to have a nice clean edge, that's how you can achieve it. So just to show you that one there, I have scraped it, not very well, but that one I have scraped the side to stop the drip. Where the first one that I did, you can see how it's dripping down and you'll get that little drip effect. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It means you get extra glaze, so I'm not going to complain if that was my donut. But if you want it to be really neat, that's how you can do it. Right, so my donuts are glazed and I have left them for a few minutes just to allow the glaze to firm up, to develop a bit of a skin. Now in this bowl here, I have icing sugar and lemon juice. That's all I have put in, just because I want to do a little bit of an extra decoration. This is absolutely optional. You do not need to do it. Your donuts are done as they are. But if you want to go with extra pretty like I do, you can do this as well. So this is just icing sugar and lemon juice, and I've just mixed it up to make a fairly thick, but still a little bit runny, you can see, kind of paste. I'm just going to drizzle it over one part of the donuts and decorate it a little bit. And then over my little extra bit of drizzle, I've just got a few extra blueberries here, and I'm just going to pop them on top. And you need to make sure you do this bit before your main glaze sets, because then your blueberries are going to set into your glaze and not slip off. And there you have it. Those are my lemon and blueberry donuts. Absolutely stunningly beautiful, absolutely delicious. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it and subscribe if you haven't already, and happy baking. See you next time.